Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Marketing Mindsets. I'm your host, Ntabi, and today we're exploring Blue Ocean Strategy. And this is an influential business framework that changed how companies think about competition and innovation since its publication in 2005. So, picture yourself sailing in an ocean, and there are two sides to it. So, you're sailing on one where the waters are crowded with competing ships, all fighting for the same fish and literally turning the waters red with so much competition. And then there's the other side that you are not on, where there's vast blue ocean and it's untouched and has full opportunity. So that's the compelling metaphor that the two authors focus on in the Blue Ocean Strategy. So let's go back to 2005, where traditional business strategy was really dominated by Porter's competitive frameworks, which stated that companies were taught to either differentiate or be the cost leader. And at that time, you could not do both. This is where the Blue Ocean Strategy then challenged this fundamental assumption by introducing the two what ifs, which was then seen as a transformative idea. And those what ifs was, what if instead of battling competitors in saturated red oceans, companies could create entirely new market spaces where competition was irrelevant? And then the second what if is, what if you could pursue both differentiation and low cost simultaneously? Having looked at the book, one realizes that the Blue Ocean Strategy at that time introduced practical tools that transformed how businesses approached innovation. There were three identifiers, which are the strategy canvas. And this is a visual tool that helps companies map their current industry and identify opportunities for differentiation. I mean, I really like this one. And then there's the 4 action framework, which asks what factors should be eliminated, reduced, raised, or created to develop a new value curve. And then lastly is the 3 tiers of non-customers. And this is helping businesses look beyond existing markets to find the untapped demand, so the opportunities that are out there. So these frameworks turned abstract strategy into really actionable steps, which is what makes things a little bit easier. So making the market creation a systematic process rather than a stroke of luck or just throwing the net out there and hoping to catch a couple of fish. As with other episodes, it's important for us to have a look at these strategies within the South African business context. And the best thing to do is really just illustrate some existing examples. So I'll look at two and just discuss how they've applied it. So the first one would be Capitec. It really created a blue ocean in banking by making banking simple, right? So it eliminated complex fee structures. It reduced branch costs, which then simplified designs, and it raised transparency. It also created affordable banking solutions for previously underserved South Africans, which is a similar business structure to what African Bank did before it encountered problems. But now I think they're doing much better because they've rebranded. And then the second one is the Discovery Vitality Program. I mean, this transformed health insurance by creating wellness platforms that incentivized healthy behaviors or healthy living. And it opened up an entirely new market space. Staying on what we've previously discussed in other episodes, it's important for me to go back to last week's discussions because there's a little bit of correlation. And it's also important for me to then highlight the differentiator within this week's conversation. So Gordon's purple cow concept, which was discussed last week, compared to the blue ocean strategy, what they have in common is that they emphasize the importance of standing out in the marketplace. However, the differentiators that we've identified within the blue ocean strategy is that the purple cow focuses on being remarkable within existing markets, like a purple cow standing out in a field of uh, black and white dotted cows or brown cows, right? Whereas the blue ocean strategy suggests creating an entirely new market where competition doesn't yet exist. So you identify an opportunity within still waters and you go there and you find and you act on it. And then the other one is that purple cow is primarily a marketing concept about differentiation and grabbing attention, while the blue ocean strategy is a comprehensive strategic framework. And then another one that we've identified is that purple cow asks, how can we be remarkable? While blue ocean strategy asks, how can we make competition irrelevant? Lastly, Purple Cow emphasizes product innovation, while the Blue Ocean strategy emphasizes value innovation across the entire business model. So, looking at these, you then realize that both concepts are valuable. I mean, there's never a useless conversation on differentiation and innovation and bringing out value in that. But the Blue Ocean strategy offers a more structured approach to finding uncontested marketplaces. Having looked at the strategy of Blue Ocean and also having discussed the different thoughts that we've touched on and the differentiation points between what we discussed last week and what we're discussing this week, it's important to then go back and also check how relevant the strategy is in modern day, even though we've given examples of some brands that have adopted it. So the blue ocean strategy is still very relevant in today's digitally disrupted marketplace. So South African companies, like we've spoken about, still face the fundamental challenges of standing out in crowded markets. Worse now because it's digital, everybody wants to be in digital. So we see the principles applied in digital transformation efforts where companies look beyond digitizing existing processes and rather look at creating entirely new digital value proposition. So another example would be that of Rain Mobile, which didn't just compete as another mobile provider, but they created South Africa's first data-only mobile network, right? And then we also look at Takealot, which built an e-commerce ecosystem that redefined retail in South Africa. So, having gone through the literature and highlighted what it promotes, and then comparing it to our previous um, analysis, it's also important for us to highlight that it will come with challenges. And there are a couple of critics that have highlighted a couple of them. The first one being that implementation of the strategy is actually quite difficult. So, what they mean is that the theory put together is elegant, but the execution requires overcoming organizational resistance. And then the second one is that blue oceans don't stay blue forever. And it's something that was touched on in the purple cow as well, because there will be people that come in and adopt the same strategy that you did, or adopt the same look and feel after you have tried to differentiate yourself. So, in essence, what they were saying is that successful innovation attracts imitators quickly. And then the last one is that the methodology relies heavily on post hoc analysis of successful cases rather than predictive testing. So, researchers also suggest that maintaining a blue ocean advantage requires continuous innovation rather than a one time strategic shift, which is very true. And that's why there's always the concept of agility. With the book having been published in 2005, it's an obvious thing that the business landscape has evolved, including the digitization of everything and the innovation of everything. Um, it's important to consider the new context of business aligned to the blue ocean strategy, and that would be the integration with design thinking and agile methodologies. Also considering the application of social entrepreneurship, which is crucial in our context of addressing socioeconomic challenges. And I think lastly would be the adaptation for digital business models and platform economics in Africa's rapidly digitizing economy. The fundamental principles of the Blue Ocean strategy still remains very powerful, in that it's important to create new market spaces by solving previously underaddressed customer problems and also making competition irrelevant. So the author's core message continues to resonate in the sense that the most sustainable path of growth or to growth lies in creating blue oceans of uncontested market spaces. So that sums up our episode for this week. Join us next week for another exploration of ideas that shape modern marketing. So until then, what I would like you to ask yourself is your business swimming in a red ocean of competition, or is it creating a blue ocean of opportunity? So, with that, we will see you guys or chat to you guys next week.